ever tried to make a wig on your own and failed miserably? And then you tried again and failed again? Well, don't worry, you're not alone. But my last question is, did you fail your way to success? Hello my loves, welcome to Music and Beauty with me, Miss Ruby, where I'm educating and entertaining music and beauty lovers one style, one song, one video at a time. If you're new to this channel, thank you so much for stopping by and checking out this video. I promise to make it worth your time. If you're not already subscribed and you're interested in seeing more beauty tutorials by me, check me out and subscribe if you like, alright? So for those of you who are new to my channel, you don't already know that majority of my videos are hair tutorials, specifically tutorials for braids, weaves, extensions, that type of stuff. Moving forward, I actually want to go in the direction of natural hair, but I'll talk to you guys about that in another video. So yeah, I do braids and weaves all the time, but I've never attempted a wig, and the reason why is because I've been very intimidated. The way I feel about it is, in order to perfect a sew and weave, you have to perfect every stitch, the way you lay every track, the way every track frames each individual's head. It's not the same thing for every person's head. Yes, very similar, but there are always these small details that make the biggest difference. So I've been hesitating to make a wig because I'm like, how do you just make something that can go on anyone's head and do it without actually having someone's head there for you? It's just a challenge, and I actually ran into so many challenges doing this. So I just want to say, like, if you've tried to make a wig and you failed at it, like, don't feel bad because it's not easy to do. However, I'm hoping that by the time you finish seeing this video, then you know some things to look out for in order for you to be successful. Let's jump right into the tutorial. Thank you so much for subscribing. God bless you, and I'll see you on the other side. For starters, shout out to BalliceVirginHair.com for sending me this beautiful bag full of goodies, including a 14-inch lace closure, along with 3 16-inch bundles of straight hair. And don't forget the eyelashes, poppin'. This virgin Brazilian hair did not come from the mink animal itself, but calling it mink hair is just a way to denote a superior, premium quality hair amongst the rest. I was able to achieve a subtle ombre on this hair without using bleach by instead using the High Color Blonde hair dye by L'Oreal. Links to all the products shown will be listed in the description below. I also used this doll head stand, a foam doll head, styling tools, styling products, some butterfly clips, duckbill clips, sewing pins, a needle and thread. Don't mind my thread, y'all. I did end up opening a new spool. A razor comb to create bangs in my wig, and a stretchable lace wig cap with adjustable straps, a contour palette, a makeup brush and tweezers, and a wig brush. I also needed a t-shirt to place on top of the wig stand because the foam doll head would not sit snugly enough for me to do work on. For those of you who don't know, I go by the name Miss Ruby. So let's get started. After clamping the chair clamp onto the chair and adding the foam doll head, then I'm gonna go ahead and put the wig cap on top, making sure that the adjustable straps are in the back near the nape of the foam head and inside. Okay, I did put this wig cap on my hair because I've never made a wig before and I just wanted to make sure it fit, y'all. So I see that without having to stretch it, it fit my hair over my braids or my twists, and I didn't really have to do too much stretching. So I'm like, okay, I kind of have a small head, and this gave me an idea, or so I thought. It gave me an idea of how I was gonna stitch my tracks on. And this is me using the sewing pins to tack the wig cap down to the foam doll head. My objective in this first part is just to tack it down stretched out enough so that I can apply the closure first, and I knew that I was gonna have to go in and adjust the way I tacked it down when it came time to actually stitch the bundles on. This part wasn't so bad actually. And this is the lace closure. I'm giving you guys an example of what it looks like. You can see the knots when I place it on my skin. So I'm going in with the powders from that contour palette, and instead of using bleach, I'm just using this powder to help lighten up the area that's going to be seen on the part. I did have to use a combination of 2 colors for my hair. The objective is to find the combination of powders that most closely match your skin complexion. And now when I place it against my skin, then you don't see the knots anymore. Once it comes time to style this, I'm going to get rid of the dusty residue from that powder, so don't worry. I just wanted to show you guys how you guys can get around using bleach to lighten up the knots of your lace frontals or closures. This part was a success as well. This wasn't the part that I failed at, okay? So now I'm tacking down this lace closure in the front of this wig, and I'm making sure that it kind of lays a little bit in front of where the wig cap starts. Now I'm gonna get started with sewing this down. So first I'm sticking the needle through the wig cap, making sure that it's secure on there. And then I'm also sticking it through the side piece of this lace closure. And I'm just gonna do that continuously, going from the front of the lace closure leading to the back of the lace closure, making sure to do the stitches close enough together so that I'm not causing bunching. Here's a close-up shot of what's going on, and I just continued to do the same exact stitch pattern all the way till I got to the back. Then I turned around to the other side and I did the exact same thing, heading toward the back. Here's an example of how you're going to loop the thread in the first stitch in order to make sure it's secure onto the wig cap. Then I'm taking the remaining thread from both sides and I'm just going across the back of the lace closure. As you see with my left hand, I'm holding it down tight because I don't want to drag that lace closure back too far. If you've never seen any of my closure videos, then make sure you check out my channel for those, because I give some in-depth detail on how to install a lace closure on an actual human being. This is very similar. This is me doing the anchor stitches. I talk about making anchor stitches in my closure videos all the time, so I still wanted to anchor this down to the wig cap and kind of stretch that closure out a little bit. The more stretched out the closure is, then the flatter it's going to appear to lay. Boom, boom, boom. We popping. So far, so good, y'all. And this is where I kind of like started messing up. But you know, my logic was, I know that this foam doll head is not as big as my actual head is. But if I stretch it out as much as possible and then I install the tracks, then, you know, everything should go smoothly. It should go well. So that's what I did. This is what the hair looked like after I lifted it up a little bit at the ends, giving it that little subtle ombre. I am installing these tracks doubled. When people say that they're double wefting their tracks, this is what they mean. They're sticking the needle through 2 of the tracks at one time, and then they're going to sew it on as if it's just one track. So my intention was to start the stitches from like the top of the ear area and just go all the way around the back. Now, a lot of times when you see people doing weaves, myself included, this is a common stitch pattern to go basically from ear to ear, flip the tracks, and just continue on with that pattern. Well, you'll see in a few minutes why this was definitely not a good idea. So if you're making a wig for the first time, don't do this, especially if you're working on a foam doll head that does not accurately fit the size of your head. And the reason why is because, as you see, I'm just stitching away and not really realizing that I'm tightening up and causing shrinkage to this wig cap along the way. And what happens is when I took it off to size it on my head and kind of like put it on my head again to see and make sure that it was fitting, it didn't fit. It was extremely tight. And I've heard of girls doing this before. I was like doing some research and found that a lot of girls have made this mistake when making their wigs. They will end up with a really tight, snug fitting wig that causes a headache throughout the day because of this very issue. So make sure you avoid this at all costs. So yeah, as pretty as it looked, it was a fail. But I didn't give up, as irritated as I was. Nope, I tried again. This time, instead of dragging the tracks across snugly, as I normally would when doing a sew and weave, I made sure to kind of hold on to them so that they would be a little bit loosened on the actual wig cap. And hopefully I would end up with stretchability in this wig cap and it would ultimately fit my head. Y'all, I was so confident in this method that I even cut the tracks when I got to the end of this portion, only to end up trying it on again and failing. But that's okay. Trial and error. What I realized is I just needed to expand the size and enlarge the foam doll head. So I looked up a couple videos of some girls doing this and I created a video of my own. So it's not out yet, but it should be out within a couple of weeks of me releasing this video, showing you guys step by step how to enlarge your foam doll head. Just in case you're like me and you don't have one of those fancy actual doll heads that are designed to create wigs on. Yeah, this is a much cheaper method, by the way, guys. It only costs a few dollars. You can do it at home and it is effective. So after I went through all that trouble and spent all that time, and it did take me a couple days, by the way, because I couldn't do it all at once because, you know, I do have a newborn baby. Then I was able to come back and get started again. This time, every single time I stitched from left to right, I checked for the stretchability of this wig cap, making sure not only is the wig cap stretched out more already, but I just needed confirmation because I was so nervous that it was going to end up tight yet again. So not only did I stretch it after every single time I laid the track, but if you'll notice, instead of me dragging the tracks along to make them snug, I'm actually making sure that they're fitting kind of loosely before I add my stitches, and I'm trying to hold on to them. Like, I'm sewing from right to left right now, but I'm kind of pulling this track a little bit to my right every time I add a stitch, making sure that I'm just leaving room so that this wig cap can stretch out once I take it off this. That way, this wig will be able to fit a variety of size heads. So even though I do have a small head, the wig cap is adjustable, so I can always adjust it and squeeze it tighter on my head. I'd rather this wig be bigger than my head than smaller than my head. That way I don't have to walk around with a headache just because I want to be cute. You feel me? Also, if you'll notice, I'm no longer curving the tracks to go from ear to ear because that was another danger that I realized. Doing that on a wig, or at least in my case, I felt like it was gonna cause it to be too tight and just like have an unrealistic fit. Since I'm not actually sizing this on my head, this is more like a general fit, I didn't want to take that chance. So I didn't start curving the tracks until I got up to the top. Also, you'll see that I'm sticking my finger underneath just to make sure that I'm not like stitching into the tape that is layered on top of this wig head. So that's how much territory I covered with just one bundle. And then I went in with the second bundle and just continued doing what I was doing. If you guys have never seen my videos on flipping and stitching tracks, make sure you check that out. I give in-depth detail, step by step, on how to flip your tracks so that they remain flat. So here's me finishing up the second bundle, and as you'll see, I am curving this track up because I heard from watching some different wig videos that doing the tracks curved up when you get to the side just allows it to be more fuller along the sides, and that way when the wind blows, then you have some coverage there. However, in my personal opinion, once I wore this wig, I regretted this. So if you're following along with me, you may not want to curve the tracks. Just make sure that you have enough tracks to where when all the hair falls, it is full along the sides of your face. Now, when I got to the top of this wig, I did go ahead and single out the wefts. This just allows for a flatter finish toward the top. I also cut the tracks. I'm no longer flipping the tracks anymore. A lot of women are different on this. I prefer to cut my tracks when I get to the top of my sew-ins and now even my wigs because it just ensures flatness. Another thing, it's okay to cut the tracks when you're doing wigs because you're not going to be reusing these tracks over and over. This is going to stay on one unit, so you may as well cut the tracks as much as you want to, honestly, unless you're worried about shedding, which for a lot of virgin Brazilian hair companies, you don't have to worry about too much because a lot of them have stepped up their game as far as the durability of the way that they have created the bundles. So my hope is that I don't experience shedding from cutting the tracks and that I just experience greatness because now my tracks are going to lay as flat as possible. And here's a close-up view of me laying this last track. I just want to show you guys that I am attaching the track to the actual closure, making sure that the track is not overlapping the closure, rather sitting right next to it, flush with the stitches for this lace closure. So you need to make sure that you're not overlapping it because then that's going to cause it to be bulky, okay? Here's what it looks like once all the tracks are in, guys, and I was so happy because I was so tired. I just wanted to finish this, and I finally did. So now I'm taking the wig brush and just brushing it out. Then I went in and styled my wig. I am going to have a separate video for styling this wig. This will also be up within another week or two of me releasing this video. I wanted to do a separate video on styling to give you guys some in-depth information on how to style your wig from start to finish. But this video would be way too long if I went in detail here. And I really love the way these curls came out, y'all. I love the way the bangs came out, y'all. Yes. I just love the, just like one of my favorite parts of doing like hair extensions is the styling part, I ain't gonna lie. And this is what we look like at the end of it all, y'all. You can wear this wig as a middle part or a side part. I also did a separate video on installing this wig on myself, so make sure you check my channel for that. In that video, I show you guys how I take this standard wig and I customized it to fit my head and my hairline. Thank you so much for checking out this tutorial with me and learning with me. I hope that I helped you guys avoid some common mistakes when making wigs. Now I officially know how to make lace closure wigs. What? Yes. And guess what? You do too. Thanks again for subscribing. God bless you. And I'll talk to you guys on my next video. Deuces.